Hello there. My name is Paul Campbell, and today I will continue to read You Know Something is Wrong When, an American Affidavit of Probable Cause. And today we will be going over Part 4, Moving On. The Titles of Nobility Amendment, 1810 to 1819. Quote, if any citizen of the United States shall accept, claim, receive, or retain any title of nobility or honor, or shall without the consent of Congress accept and retain any present pension, office, or emolument of any kind whatever from any emperor, king, prince, or foreign power, such person shall cease to be a citizen of the United States, and shall be incapable of holding any office of trust or profit under them, or either of them. End quote. It took almost 9 years, but on 12 March 1819, Virginia became the 13th and final state required to ratify the above amendment to the Constitution for the United States of America, not to be confused with the much later look-alike, sound-alike corporate Constitution of the United States of America. The Titles of Nobility Amendment added a strict, specific, and enforceable penalty for violations of the already existing constitutional prohibition in Article 1, Section 9, Clause 8, loss of citizenship and inability to hold public office. So what are all these district courts and state courts inhabited by black-robed bar member judges and attorneys sporting the title Esquire? They are private courts operated in foreign jurisdictions by undeclared foreign agents. The American Bar Association has a treaty following it to function on American soil, which it has grossly abused. What appear to be state statutes are issued under private copyright. Public documents are all public domain and cannot be copyrighted. The take-home news for American state citizens is that 1. No member of the Bar Association can occupy any public office associated with you, nor your state on the land, nor the continental United States in general. 2. If a Bar Association member is associated with any action pretending or having actual impact upon you or the land jurisdiction of the continental United States, that action is null and void. 3. None of the courts you commonly see rampaging around, issuing charges, and handing out orders have jurisdiction over your person or your property. 4. No act of any version of Congress or any state legislator tainted by members of the Bar Association can be applied to you. The Bar Association members can work for the federal United States and for the Washington, D.C. municipality and the United Nations city-state. And all these foreign governments have created franchises that they operate under your given name. They rarely attack these franchises and make false claims that seem to be addressed to you, a purposeful deceit called personage. But in fact, by maxim of law, those who create franchises are responsible for all debts and upkeep costs of those franchises. Note the crimes involved. Personage, the crime of knowingly misrepresenting a living man or woman as a legal fiction, some form of corporation, such as a trust, public utility, or foundation. For example, knowingly mischaracterizing a living woman named Elizabeth Arden as if she were the corporate design company known as Elizabeth Arden Inc., is a crime of personage. Dowry, yes, named after the Bar Association for good reason. The crime of knowingly bringing false claims and charges based on personage in order to use foreign statutory law against living people. These two crimes are routinely practiced by members of the bar associations worldwide to inflict unjust punishments, defraud people of property, and to raise money for themselves and the banks they work for. The American Bar Association has violated their corporate charters, the Smith Act and the Taft-Hartley Act, with impunity, impunity with an M. Fearing retribution, nobody has had guts enough to take them on and expose their criminality. Now, right here is where a big confusion starts. 1. There are living people born on the land of the 50 states united who are civilian inhabitants of the organic states known to be birthright citizens of the continental United States, people who are owed all the guarantees of the Constitution, a republican form of government, and full enjoyment of their natural rights. There are living people who were either born in federal territories or who are defined as federal United States citizens by default, contract, or treaty, who operate under the international jurisdiction of the sea as part of a democracy. They have only civil rights, which are granted or taken away by members of Congress. There are legal fiction persons, millions of them, named after living American state citizens, all routinely called United States citizens or United States citizens. We have the actual organic states, and we have the states and states that only exist on paper. We have actual people who are citizens or citizens, and we have all sorts of legal fiction entities that are being passed off as citizens, and you asleep at the wheel. Who is responsible for this mess? It's a long list. The Holy See and the Vatican, and all the popes since 1845, the British monarch since 1845, the Crown Commercial Conglomerate since 1885, the Crown Temple and Bar Associations since 1885, the U.S. Army since 1863, the Joint Chiefs of Staff since 1944, the United Nations and the Secretary General since 1944, the United Nations since 1943, the Federal Reserve Association since 1911, the Federal Reserve System since 1913, the World Bank and International Bank of Reconstruction and Development since 1930, international, and 1933, domestic. The International Monetary Fund since 1944, the Vatican Bank since 1930, the Bank of International Settlements since 1944, the United States of America, Inc., since 1868, the United States, Inc., since 1944, the Federal Reserve since 2011, the United States of America, Inc., since 2013, the members of the United States Congress since 1861, the members of the United States Congress since 1933, the Congress of the United States of America since 1868, and lastly, all presidents since Lincoln except Garfield and Kennedy. Legalese cause the confusion. Only people can be American state citizens. Living people have appellations, not names. Only things have names. Also, living people have autographs. Only corporate officers have signatures. Also, in law, people are either described as, for example, John Quincy of the House Adams, or denoted by the use of, of all small letters, as in John Quincy Adams. This doesn't agree with what you've been taught to think and do and say, but it is of vital importance to know. In legal parlance, the style in which a name is written tells lawyers what it is. Legal styles. A name written in all capitals, italicized, is the name of a ship. A name written in all small letters represents a living human. A name written in all capital letters can only be one of two things. That was part 4. Next time, we will be going over part 5, getting organized.